feel like my lash looks like Gia Guns. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Hannah Alexander. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's just get into it. I have a lot to say on the subject. I finally get to use my notebook for its intended purpose. Let's just start this by saying big spoilers. I'm going to talk about the whole film, so turn back if you haven't seen it. I'm warning you now, I'm going to talk about everything. Okay, so to start with, in my opinion, if it wasn't for COVID, this movie would have been bigger than Endgame. I have no doubt about it. Nostalgia plays a really big part in a lot of reasons why we go to see movies. If it wasn't for COVID and people weren't so scared to go to the cinema, 100% this movie would have been bigger than Endgame. Iron Man may have started the MCU, but Spider-Man started the Marvel dynasty. Yes, Blade came first, Blade did come first, but do we think about Blade when we think about nostalgic superhero movies? No, we think about Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, but that's kind of for a different reason. Fantastic Four was kind of a joke. It was fun, at least. Let's not talk about the 2014 travesty that was Fantastic Four. At least the original ones were funny. But Spider-Man started the dynasty. I will take no criticisms about that. It was Spider-Man that started it. Okay, let's discuss what I was wrong about first. So, Doctor Strange wasn't a Loki variant. Post-credit scene excluded. Venom wasn't in it. Venom didn't show up. So I was wrong about that, but that's fine. It was also not Sinister Six. We didn't see Mysterio and we didn't see Scorpion. Miles Morales was also not introduced. The new suit wasn't familiar. It was just his suit inside out. So I was also wrong about that. But I don't know, there was a lot of suits in the Insomniac game. So I still think that Miles may have worn one that looked similar, but maybe just because it was an all black suit and Miles wears all black suits. It also kind of looked like the original Venom suit in the third one, in a way. Kind of, in a way. Spider-Man did not call Electro Sparky, which I was very disappointed about because I just think it would have been funny, but they're starting to come through and I can't stop them was all one line. I'm so annoyed because I was so sure about that. I really thought that was going to be two separate lines from two different parts of the films, but I was wrong. It was at the end when Green Goblin exploded the spell box. But there were a fair few things that I was right about. So let's talk about those for a second. I did say that Marvel, Disney, Sony were unlikely to repeat themselves with another person swap. So with Nick Fury being a Skrull at the end of Far From Home, it was unlikely that Strange would be a Loki variant because they already did that storyline in Far From Home in another Spider-Man movie as well. So I did say that. I did say that it was unlikely, even though I said that he might have been a variant. I said that it was unlikely they would repeat themselves. The nanotech did save Peter's life by moving to his chest to stop Doc Ock hitting him in the chest, and the nanotech did take control of the arms. So I was right about both of those things. He did kind of fight with Doctor Strange because they fought in the mirror dimension and he locked him in there, which obviously I didn't guess, but they did fight in a way. Electro did zap Doc Ock out of the building and Doc Ock did help them because Peter cured them, which I said that he might because Doc Ock isn't inherently evil, it's the arms. We did get all three Spider-Mans, Spider-Men, Spider-People, Spider-Mans. We got all three of them. I said, like, from the moment we got the first trailer, like the mini one, I said to everybody, there's no way they can't have all three Spider-Man. There's been too much hype. And we did. We got all three of them. It was a 3v3 and the Lizard Punch was another Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield to be exact. It was not his hand. hand. It was Andrew Garfield's hand. Andrew Garfield saved MJ to make up for the fact that he didn't save Gwen, which Lily will back me up. I watched the trailer at 6 o'clock in the morning and I said that it wasn't going to be him. I said it straight away when we started discussing the trailer. I said that it would be Andrew Garfield that saved MJ and not Tom Holland. That's the thing I'm most proud of, because I said it before I saw anybody else say it. I knew that it was going to be Andrew Garfield. Moving on from what I got right and what I got wrong, let's talk about the actual film. There was only one teeny tiny bit of the film that bothered me. Right at the beginning, when Spidey jumps off of the lamppost to get to MJ, it just looked odd. Obviously it was because he was on a harness and the harness like lowered him down slowly, but the way he moved, it just looked strange. So that was my only complaint about the whole film, is just that one dodgy little jump. Look at my Spider-Man. Where was the wink from the trailer? Doctor Strange's wink. Also, one didn't tell him not to do it. He said, don't involve me, or don't get me involved. I can't remember the exact words. I've only seen it twice and it was quite a while ago. It was before Christmas. But where was the wink? I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get Sinister Six. I just think it would have been fun, but I loved that the only villains that we had in the film were villains from the Sam Raimi's and the Amazing Spider-Man films. I just think it was really good for nostalgia, and we didn't really need any more villains. But I would have liked Sinister Six. I'm so glad they didn't make Ned Hobgoblin. I don't think it would have worked in the storyline. I feel like they played up to it a little bit, like with him obviously being a third wheel. I think they were playing it up so that they could have done that storyline, or that we were like expecting it, and they didn't go that way. Instead, they made it so that he could use the mystic arts, and I just think that was such a better path to take. It was because as I said, we didn't need another villain, but he did need his friends. We could collectively feel the cinema hold their breath when the portal opened and Spider-Man's silhouette was standing there. I just want to point out as well that I knew it was Andrew Garfield as soon as we saw him, by the way he was stood and like his stature. I'm also so glad that Lily and me went on release night, because nobody held back their cheers and their screams of joy when Andrew Garfield took his mask off, and also again when Tobey Maguire came through. As a note, I started crying from her death and didn't stop crying for the rest of the movie, and I'm not going to say anything else about that death. I still don't understand the Captain America shield on Statue of Liberty. It still doesn't make sense to me. If I remember correctly, they made a reference to it in Hawkeye as well. I don't understand it. Why? I loved the inclusion of the 3 Spideys meme, even if it was only subtle. So it was, you could see it both in the lab and also when they were stood talking before they battled. And they also included Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland being freaked out and confused by Tobey Maguire's organic webs, which I was really hoping for, because obviously it's very odd to them that he's got organic webs. To me, at the end, the hug and the thank yous felt like they came from Tom Holland rather than Tom Holland's Peter Parker. I think it really meant a lot to him that they were in it. It made it complete for him. So I felt like they came from him instead. It was probably scripted, but the way it came across to me, it felt like it came from him. I also love that he is now really like the comic book Spider-Man. He's broke and he's alone and nobody knows his secret. He's living in that tiny apartment. So I think that's set him up for some really good movies. The end, the mirroring with the beginning of the Insomniac game was just brilliant. Like, they got it almost moment for moment. It was almost identical, and that was fantastic. I'm asking this to Disney, Sony, and Marvel. Please, can he keep this new suit? It is beautiful. It looks very inspired by the Raimi suits and the Amazing Spider-Man suits, and obviously he's made them, so it's like they're inspired. He's been inspired by their suits when they came through, so I love that. Going on to my thoughts for the next movie and the future of the Spider-Man movies, the way Peter put the letter back into his pocket, to me, feels like that's his way of showing that he wants Ned and MJ to live their lives without him now, because he knows they're safe, especially as they were talking about MIT. I think it's gonna phase out those two characters. Maybe they'll come back, but as smaller characters, and we're gonna introduce some new ones like Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy. From the post-credit scene, Venom is coming, but could it possibly be Flash Thompson, Agent Venom? Because we've already got Eddie Brock and Venom going on in their own universe, doing their own thing. So I think it would make sense if it wasn't Eddie Brock. I know that in the game, it looks like Harry Osborn is going to be Venom in the next game coming, because of the post-credit scene of the game where the black stuff came down in his tank. But as I said, it doesn't look like Harry Osborn exists in this universe, so I think we do have Flash Thompson, so that could be an interesting way to move the story on. Are we gonna get The Amazing Spider-Man 3? I really, really hope so. It looks like Sony is creating their own Spider-Man dynasty. Like, we've got the MCU, we've got Morbius coming, Kraven the Hunter has been confirmed, and we've got Venom in his own storyline. If we could get The Amazing Spider-Man 3, it looks like Sony is creating its own Spider-Man dynasty, which is perfect for me. Is Andrew the Spider-Man in the poster in the Morbius trailer, or could it possibly even be Toby? Was it Spider-Man swinging on the TV screen in Venom like I thought? And if so, we know that Venom and Eddie aren't in Tom's universe, so could it be Andrew Garfield, because he said that he's never fought an alien? If that is the case, it would make even more sense for it to be Agent Venom in Tom Holland's universe, because two Eddie Brock Venoms and two Spider-Mans alongside each other going at the same time probably wouldn't work as storylines. It would be tedious and too similar. So Agent Venom, I think, is what we're going to get with the little Venom crawly in Tom Holland's universe. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts about Spider-Man No Way Home in the comments. I would love to read them, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, it's at selflovehannah. Follow me on TikTok, it's at hannahalexander96. And follow me on Twitch, Don't See a Steakorn, because I'm going to sort out my audio and I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. I would like to do the Spider-Man games when I get all the rest of my stuff here. So, see you next time.